Good morning. It is Sunday, and we have got the most glorious sunshine today in Johannesburg. It's day 10, and it is a real blessing. Talking of blessings, today's story is about a woman called Blessing. Blessing embodies everything that we try and help our delegates and clients to understand about leadership, and yet she has no positional power. She lives in Bambai, which is an informal settlement near Inanda in KwaZulu-Natal. And on Sundays, we visit her and we speak to her community. We sit in wonderful circles and we learn from her as she tells us stories. The last time I was there was a month or two ago, and I sat in the circle and I wrote. As she spoke, I wrote, and what ended up as a poem. And I hope that Blessing's story is reflected in this poem. I called it, of course, a leadership blessing. With the food for the stomach settled, now it was food for thought. And the lessons we learn from Blessing are gems which cannot be bought. Surrounded by leaders from all walks of life who've truly shown us the way to live in far brighter colors in a world depressing and grey. We heard some harrowing stories, distressing and painful and true, and we feel the shame and the sorrow, beaten both black and dark blue. This passionate angel Blessing, she taught at a Sunday school, but she's so much more than a teacher. She stands proudly as nobody's fool. Her time for praying was over, and now it was time to act, and knowing her neighbor and all their connections was her self-driven pact. And as she did this, she uncovered a modern Pandora's box and embarked on an activist's journey without the throwing of rocks. She didn't bring politicians, she found a way of her own. She starts with herself, she leads from behind, and nobody walks alone. Empowering others to lead, to change the plight of this place, she gathered the circles of dialogue, and she gathered them all with grace. Stop these attacks on foreigners. Let's have a place where all can belong. Besides the fact it is criminal, for humanity it's just plainly wrong. These people have skills, they have stories to tell, they can help our community grow. But if we don't let them in, we continue in sin, and well, we might never know. I sit in this circle as a father, and my heart feels battered and sore, as stories of my fellow father's behavior rock me to my very core. How will I lead? And who will I impact? And will we dads ever learn that love and respect and our right to lead are just things we can only earn? They say in life you get judged by the legacy you leave behind, but where do you go when you're frightened? And how do you settle your mind? Well, I have a network of love, and things are not as they seem, and behind every active woman lies her dream and a trustworthy team. So we've heard all these stories with all their horror and pain, and how do we live in a quite different life without making mistakes again? Well, perhaps we learn here from Blessing, who started just with herself. And what could we do with our power within if we dusted ourselves off the shelf? And so she teaches these children through all possible manner and means. Without a salary or visible funding, she's lucky to feed them all beans. But yet she feeds their inquiring minds in the things they have to address. And she does it through love, and she encourages poetry, and she even teaches them chess. For chess is a game of strategy, which teaches a lot about life, about how to live in uncertainty and thrive in a world of great strife. Leadership comes unexpectedly. You're never too young or too old. There may be no mine in Bambai, but blessings, a nugget, pure gold. And so on this Sunday, I think of Blessing and the hundreds of blessings around in our country who are teaching children, who are trying their very, very best in tough circumstances. The house where Gandhi lived, a few meters away from Blessing's home, is called Salvadoya, which means well-being for all. Well-being for all. And I wish you well-being on a Sunday afternoon. Till tomorrow.